In this story, when you hear this, turn the page. Trouble at Sea.
Jimbo, Jimbo, Jimbo.
Jimbo was on one of his favorite journeys, crossing the Atlantic. He liked to spend his time spotting the different types of ships bobbing up and down on their way across that mighty ocean. One particular ship didn't seem to be making much headway, so Jimbo decided to circle back and take a closer look.
That ship looks as if it's in trouble,
Jimbo said to himself as he tipped his wing and zoomed down low across the heaving, crashing waves. He was right. The ship was in trouble, and two sailors were frantically waving their arms at Jimbo to attract his attention.
Help!
Cried the captain of the little ship, wrestling with the wheel.
We've lost our mast, and our engines are flooded. Help!
As Jimbo zoomed overhead, he saw a huge wave rise and batter the little ship. The sailors hung on with all their might, and the ship's cat blew up his water wings because ship's cats are rotten swimmers.
You think he's seen us?
Shouted one of the sailors.
We're done for if he hasn't,
said the skipper.
She won't take much more of this.
Jimbo climbed to around 20,000 feet to make sure he could get a good signal on his radio receiver.
Hello, Control!
He shouted.
Can you hear me? I've got a ship in distress here. Can you hear me, Control?
Jimbo's radio popped and crackled, but he couldn't get a reply.
Come in, Control! I've got a mayday out here!
But all his radio seemed to want to do was pop and crackle. He wasn't going to get a reply, even at this rate.
It's no good. I'll have to go higher. There must be a lot of rough weather about. I'll try my luck at 30,000 feet. Hello, mayday, mayday!
Shouted Jimbo, getting very impatient. Pop, pop, crackle.
We can just about hear you,
came the very faint reply, followed by a high-pitched whining sound that blotted out any chance of clear radio reception.
It's no good,
thought Jimbo.
I'll have to think of something quickly if I'm to help that stricken boat.
Meanwhile, the waves battered at the little boat below, tossing it about like a cork in a windstorm.
There's no sign of that plane,
sighed the sailor as yet another wave struck the boat. The sailor pumped frantically to bail out the sinking boat, and the ship's cat practiced his backstroke, preparing himself for the worst emergency.
I know,
said Jimbo.
I'll try skywriting. I'll write a mayday message across the sky. Someone's got to see that.
Jimbo ducked and dived, banked and dipped, spelling out the message with his exhaust trail. Mayday! Mayday! When the music stops, turn the cassette over. Just a few miles away, an air-sea rescue boat was scouting the area. The captain scanned the horizon through his binoculars. "It was a very faint message we heard coming over our radio," he said to himself. "But it still sounded like a distress signal to me."
Look, Skipper,
shouted the helmsman, pointing to the sky.
skywriting. It's a Mayday message coming from that plane.
The captain of the air-sea rescue boat leapt into action.
Come in, Henry Helicopter!
He shouted, switching on his radio control.
I know that little plane. It's Jimbo. Come in, Henry Helicopter. See that skywriting message? Follow its instructions and scout the area for a ship in distress.
Message received, Skipper. I'm up and away and scouting,
said Henry, skimming over the waves. Meanwhile, Jimbo flew low over the stricken boat and dipped his wings to assure the crew below that help was at hand.
See?
Shouted the sailor.
We're saved!
The captain of the little boat struggled with the wheel and looked about him.
I hope you're right,
he said.
But there's no sign of any rescue boats as far as I can see.
Peering down from a height of 10,000 feet, Jimbo saw the rescue team.
Oh, no!
He shouted.
They're heading in the wrong direction. They'll miss them completely.
Jimbo veered off to the left and headed towards the rescue team. Dropping down, he buzzed the rescue boat, and sweeping so low, he almost touched their radio mast.
Look, Skipper,
shouted the helmsman.
that little plane is skywriting again. Good old Jimbo.
X marks the spot,
shouted the captain.
We were going in the wrong direction. Quickly, head for that mark. Well done, little plane,
he shouted.
That was a spot of quick thinking.
The two sailors and the ship's cat thankfully scrambled up the rope ladder dropped down by Henry Helicopter, and they clung on for dear life as they were transferred safely onto the deck of the rescue boat.
Welcome aboard,
shouted the captain.
Get below for a mug of hot cocoa. But first, we'll get you some dry clothes. Give Jimbo away because he saved your lives with his clever skywriting.
Well done, Jimbo!
shouted the crew, waving to the sky.
Three cheers for Jimbo! Hip, hip!
Jimbo couldn't hear the cheers, but he could see that the crew were safely aboard the rescue ship, and that was all that mattered. That's the end of this story. There are 3 other stories about Jimbo called First Time Flyers, Jimbo Gets His Skates On, and Holiday Weather.